You're not late. You're not failing. You're loading. And there's a difference most people will never understand. They see silence and think you've stopped. They see patience and think you're stuck. They see preparation and think you're procrastinating. But you're not. You're building something they can't see yet. Something that takes time. Something that requires depth. Something that doesn't announce itself until it's ready. And if you stay until the end, you'll realize why your timing is your weapon, not your weakness, your weapon. Look around. Everyone is moving, posting, celebrating, announcing, and you're watching, wondering, comparing, asking yourself why you're not there yet, why they have what you don't, why their success came fast while yours feels slow, why the world seems to reward everyone except you. And it hurts, not because you're jealous, but because you're tired of being invisible. Tired of working in silence while others succeed in public. Tired of feeling like you're running a race where everyone else got a head start. But here's what they don't tell you. Most of what you see is a highlight reel, not the full story. You see the win. You don't see the years before it. You see the success. You don't see the failures that built it. You see the announcement. You don't see the breakdowns that preceded it. Social media has trained you to believe that speed equals value, that visibility equals progress, that if you're not posting wins, you're not making any. But that's a lie, a dangerous one. Because real growth doesn't perform. It doesn't need an audience. It doesn't require validation to be real. Real growth happens in the dark, in the quiet, in the moments nobody sees. And timelines are a construct. A story society tells you to keep you anxious, to keep you chasing, to keep you measuring your worth against arbitrary milestones that don't reflect your reality. By 25, you should have this. By 30, you should be there. By 40, you should have accomplished that. Says who? Who decided your pace? Who wrote your script? Who told you that your journey has to look like theirs? Nobody. You inherited that pressure, and you've been carrying it like truth. But it's not. It's noise. And once you stop listening to it, something shifts. At some point in this message, you'll feel relief. That relief is clarity. And clarity changes everything. Because you'll realize that being behind is a myth. That the only timeline that matters is your own. That comparison is not measurement, it's distortion. You are not late, you are exactly where you need to be. Building what needs to be built, learning what needs to be learned, becoming who you need to become. And that takes time. Not because you're slow, but because you're thorough. Not because you're weak, but because you're doing it right. Shortcuts create hollow results. Rushed foundations crack under pressure. Fast success built on weak discipline collapses eventually. But you're not building for collapse. You're building for permanence. And permanence requires patience. So while others sprint and burn out, you're pacing yourself. While they celebrate early and fade later, you're laying groundwork that will hold. While they seek applause, you seek mastery. And mastery doesn't rush. It doesn't perform for an audience. It doesn't need external proof to know it's progressing. It just builds, quietly, consistently, relentlessly. You wake up, you train, you study, you refine. Nobody claps, nobody notices, nobody cares, and that's fine. Because you're not doing this for applause, you're doing this for evolution. And evolution is an internal process. A private transformation, a silent restructuring of everything you are. This is the loading phase. The phase nobody talks about. The phase most people can't survive because it offers no immediate reward, no validation, no recognition. No proof that it's working, just effort, just discipline, just faith that the work you're doing in the dark will eventually matter in the light. And it will, but not yet. Right now, you're in compression. Pressure is building, habits are stabilizing, identity is reshaping. Think of a seed buried in soil. It doesn't announce itself, it doesn't prove its worth. It just sits there, in the dark, absorbing, expanding, preparing. And to the outside world, it looks like nothing is happening. But beneath the surface, everything is happening. Roots are forming. Structure is developing, strength is building, and when it finally breaks through, it doesn't ask permission, it doesn't apologize for taking time, it just emerges, fully formed, undeniable. That's you, right now. Loading. You're in the soil, absorbing pressure, developing roots, building the internal structure that will support everything you're about to become. And people don't see it. They see stillness. They see delay. They see someone who's not there yet. But you're not still, you're deep. And depth takes time. Let's talk about invisibility, the kind that makes you question everything. You're working, you're disciplined, you're consistent, but nobody knows, nobody sees, nobody acknowledges, and it feels like you're screaming into a void, like your effort doesn't matter, like the universe isn't paying attention, like maybe you're doing this wrong, but you're not. You're just early in your process, early in your transformation, early in the timeline of your own story, and being early feels like being forgotten. But it's not. It's preparation. Every rep you do in silence is building capacity. Every hour you spend studying is sharpening your mind. Every moment you choose discipline over distraction is rewiring your identity. And none of it is wasted. Even if nobody sees, even if nobody knows, even if nobody believes, you're changing. Slowly, steadily, irreversibly. And one day, the world will notice. Not because you announced yourself, but because you became unavoidable. But today is not that day. Today, you're still loading, and that's okay. Because the question isn't why is it taking so long? The question is, who am I becoming because of this? That's the shift. From external validation to internal evolution. From needing proof to trusting process. From measuring progress by results to measuring it by discipline. You stop asking when you'll arrive and start asking what you're learning while you're here. And what you're learning is patience, endurance, self-belief. You're learning to move without applause, to build without recognition, to grow without permission. You're learning that your worth is not determined by visibility, that your value is not measured by speed, that your power is not dependent on external proof. You're learning to trust yourself, even when nobody else does, especially when nobody else does. And that's the transformation nobody sees. The internal shift from I need them to believe in me to I believe in me. That shift is everything. Because once you believe, you stop waiting. You stop doubting. You stop comparing. You just move with certainty, with clarity, with calm. And the world feels it, even if they don't understand it yet. This is a long-term game, not a sprint. Not a trend, not a quick win. A decade-long build, a lifetime investment, a commitment to becoming someone who doesn't fade when the moment passes. Most people can't think that far ahead. They want results now, proof now, success now. And when they don't get it, they quit. They switch paths. They chase shortcuts. They abandon discipline for distraction. But you're not most people. You understand that perfect timing isn't fast, it's precise. That delayed dominance is more powerful than rushed relevance. That quiet preparation creates explosive emergence. You've seen it before. The artist who worked for 10 years before anyone cared. The athlete who trained in silence before breaking records. The entrepreneur who failed privately before winning publicly. They weren't lucky. They were patient. They loaded. Fully, completely, without rushing the process. And when they finally appeared, the world couldn't ignore them. Not because they were loud, but because they were ready. That's you, in progress, in preparation, in the final stages of becoming. And when you emerge, you won't need to announce it. Your presence will be the announcement. Your work will be the proof. Your discipline will be the explanation. You don't rush a transformation. You let it finish. You don't force growth. You create the conditions and trust the process. You don't compare your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20. You stay focused on your own story. And you let time do what time does. Reveal truth. Separate the committed from the casual. Reward patience with permanence. Right now, you feel behind, unseen, underestimated. But you're not behind, you're being forged, refined, prepared. And everything you're experiencing right now, the waiting, the silence, the pressure, is not punishment. It's preparation for a version of yourself that requires this exact process. That couldn't exist without this exact timeline. That will be undeniable because of this exact journey. So stop rushing. Stop comparing. Stop doubting. You're exactly where you need to be, loading the strength you'll need for what's coming, building the foundation you'll stand on when the world finally sees you, developing the patience that will sustain you when success arrives. And it will arrive. Not on their timeline, on yours. Not when they expect, when you're ready. Not through shortcuts, through mastery. And when it does, you won't be surprised. You won't be overwhelmed. You won't collapse under the weight of it. Because you'll have been preparing for it this entire time. In silence, in discipline, in faith, trusting your timing even when nobody else did, believing in your path even when it felt lonely, moving forward even when progress was invisible. That's strength. Not the loud kind, not the performative kind, the quiet kind, the unshakable kind. The kind that doesn't need validation because it's built on something deeper than opinion. It's built on truth. The truth that you are becoming. That every day in the dark is a day closer to the light. That your patience is not weakness, it's wisdom. That your timing is not late, it's perfect. And the world will see that, eventually. But you don't need them to, because you already know. You're not behind, you're loading. And when you're done, they won't be able to look away. Not because you demanded attention, but because you earned dominance. Through time, through discipline, through the refusal to rush what requires depth. So let them move fast. Let them celebrate early. Let them think they're ahead. You're playing a different game. One that doesn't care about quick wins. One that builds for longevity. One that understands that delayed power is the most dangerous power. Because it had time to solidify, time to deepen, time to become unbreakable. And that's you. Unbreakable in progress. Unbothered by timelines. Unshaken by comparison. Loading your future calmly, patiently, silently. And when you arrive, you won't need to explain where you've been. Your presence will be the explanation. Your power will be the proof. Your timing will be the statement. So trust it. Trust yourself. Trust the process. And keep loading. Comment "I'm loading" if you trust your timing and refuse to rush your evolution.